I found the perfect town. It's the town that embodies everything that Morning Shot stands for. It's called Margate, mate. Can you believe it? Margate.
I mean, when I was young, I used to go to Margate, and there was a pizzeria called Larry's Pizza, and it was in front of a speed bump. So the goal was to sit on the veranda of Larry's Pizza and then check all the cars flying over the speed bump and sort of almost crashing. That was the entertainment in Margate when I was younger. But according to the documentary that we saw, which is linked below, Tidy Towns, which is an organization, is cleaning up Margate extremely well. So now you don't need to rely on speed bumps for entertainment. The whole town is basically one huge tourist hub again.
Yeah, so the basic idea behind Tidy Towns is to get the community involved in repairing the town. Now, the idea is basically to go to people like car guards, many of them not really Ciro certified. They, usually the hobo guy who sleeps down the road and he's just like, hey, boss, I got your car, give me a couple rand. They're like, tell you what, we'll make you clean the car park, cut the lawn, trim the hedges, make the place look a little bit nice, might give you a couple $100. And then, benefits you, but benefits us. Interesting idea behind Tidy Towns. This is now, according to these individuals, regenerated Margate. For those of you who don't know, Margate has in traditional times become, well, a shithole. No one really wants to go there. It's full of crime. It's actually kind of gross. It's a little bit kind of like redneck. But these guys want to regenerate it.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Byron's from around there, so he knows what he's talking about. He is the redneck from Margate. But yes, I think it's important. Morning Shot has always been about decentralized civic nationalism, right? And nationalism for us is completely non-racial. And what Tidy Towns have done in Margate and now for the extended South Coast is they've included the car guards, who are Zulu. They've included the municipality, which is Zulu. They've included the law enforcement agencies. They've included all suburbs, from the white suburbs to the Indian suburbs to the black suburbs, and they all are coming together to have a united goal. They're not really asking for permission from the municipality, but they are inviting the municipality to work with them. And from what we can understand, it is working extremely well. Those areas are cleaner than ever. Those areas are going up in terms of tourism numbers. And according to the people that we have spoken to from that particular area, the idea of a decentralized tidy town process is actually migrating to other areas of this country as well.
The idea apparently is spreading to all of these places, and they are using the structure of tidy towns to regenerate their coastal areas. The idea being that whilst the locality has decayed and gone to absolute shit, the beach is still pretty beautiful. And for those beaches that don't have E. coli and sewage in them, they're worth repairing. And so the idea here is that if you get your community involved, you can regenerate your spaces. If you regenerate your spaces, it gives your community a place to go to. It's safer, it's nicer, it looks more pleasant. And so it makes people feel more involved in their community, like there's hope in the country. The idea behind the process itself then is to stop you basically thinking to yourself, well, I should probably piss off to Perth because, South Africa is just a giant S-hole. So why would I want to live here? Do you think that it is going to have the impact that these guys claim it is, though?
And I foresee that if they hold the course, if they are inclusive of everyone who actually lives there, if they do give jobs to the people that maybe cause some of the issues in the first place, it has the capacity to really, really fundamentally change those communities forever. The only problem with all of these things is succession planning, right? Orania has been around for just over 30 years. We went there. We think the succession planning is in place for it to continue for another 30, 40, 50, even 100 years. A lot of these organizations rise and die on the personalities of those who create them. So if the personalities and the succession plan is strong, South Africa is going to be defined by these decentralized civic nationalists, as opposed to those people who just keep on waiting for the state to do something.
The reason I'm a little bit more skeptical is because a town isn't defined by its nice beaches, man. I mean, Jeffreys Bay is lovely. It's beautiful. It's got some fantastic beaches, some great coastal areas, some nice little shops. You know what really defines a community? Jobs. You know what else defines a community? Electricity, good roads. And these are kind of things that the community itself doesn't really have an answer to. I mean, you can go and regenerate a beach and you can get people to come back and spend their Sunday afternoons there. But, if you got no electricity, mate, you got no electricity. And if you've got BE targets and some bullshit quotas that you got to follow, can't really create a business, then you can't create a business. So for me, I think it's one thing to improve your location and make it more pleasant for those who can live there. I could see how it would improve the property value. So they claimed that it did. It improved the property value because people actually wanted to live there. But I mean, outside of that, I think it's a little bit like, for me personally, it's like cleaning the shop window and then forgetting about the shop itself.
Byron, New York City was rejuvenated based on this very principle. By fixing windows and washing off graffiti, all the crimes that come after that fail to materialize. Because if you make it difficult to do the small crimes, the tendency is not to be able to do the bigger crimes. So in the case of Margate or places like that, where there are tidy towns, if people can see that it's clean, if they can see that it's safe, if they can see that there is a community and everyone's looking out for each other, the probability of that town going down in the dumps again is relatively lower than not taking that first step at all. So it really depends on the personalities and the expertise of the people involved. But as I said at the beginning, if you start off small and then go big, that's the key. Orania started with, 100 people, and now they are almost 4,000, and they're almost basically off-grid. Orania never intended to have a 4 megawatt battery to run the town off-grid, but that's what it has come to after 30 years of testing. So if Tidy Towns has a good stress mechanism to test, and they pass all those tests, there's no reason why this shouldn't work in a more material way.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, ultimately, for me, long term, the idea behind what Morning Shot as an institution, what we stand for as individuals, is probably best enacted through the Orania model, completely off grid and a community in isolation, being able to self-sustain, do everything yourself. I think for us, that's what we took away from Orania. We really like the model, but as you rightly point out, the way to get there is to start with the broken windows, and I suppose to a large degree that's what Margate to do.
And also, if we go to the theory of the dictatorship of the minority, which is a theory by Nassim Taleb, where basically minorities rule societies. So if you have a minority, which is about 3% of the population, which are really, really certain about one thing, everyone else will naturally just adopt it, which is why we have halal beef everywhere. I don't care about halal beef, but the Muslims really do. And the Muslims are 500,000 people in South Africa. They really care about it. We don't care about it, so everyone will just naturally eat halal beef. So if in Margate or Amanzimtoti, if 1 to 2% of the population care deeply about cleanliness, no corruption, safety, it will naturally have a knock-on effect to those who don't deem it to be as important as the intolerant minority. So if Nassim Taleb is correct, the intolerant minority will rule those places in time to come. So maybe the secret is become the intolerant minority in your community, be the driving force, and because people are sheep, they'll just follow you anyway.